Call the roll.
Krista, you call the roll.
Okay. This is the pre-council meeting for the City of Joliet, April 1st, 2013, 3:30 p.m. We'll start with roll call. Mayor Girani.
Here?
Councilman Barber, absent. Councilman Fisher.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris. Absent. Councilman Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman. Here. Councilman Turk.
Here. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Councilman Morris just called a little bit ago and indicated he's on his way, so he's running a bit late, but he'll be here this afternoon. We have a few items to be moved up. The first item is Council Memo Number 132-13. That is a minor subdivision of a parcel of property just off of Oneida on Uno Circle. What's before you is approval of a preliminary plat and a recording plat for a 2-acre site that is currently zoned B3. It's currently a single lot that's being divided into 2 lots. Lot 1 would be a vacant lot. Lot 2 contains an 8-space concrete block garage that's currently being utilized for the storage of work vehicles by a company that has a building nearby. The proposed subdivision went before the Plan Commission on March 26th. Plan Commission reviewed it and is recommending approval of the minor subdivision, and the staff is recommending the same. Rod Tonelli is here on behalf of the petitioner, Bill Hobiger of Lincolnshire Properties, to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
We are recommending approval of this today if you're prepared to vote on it.
I make a motion to approve.
Can we move on it tonight, Tom? or-
Yes.
I'll motion.
Second. Any questions, comments?
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded, said ordinances be adopted. Councilman Fisher.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman. Aye. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Mayor Girani.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is Council Memo Number 137-13, 137-13, and that is a resolution authorizing an economic development incentive agreement for the cold storage facility on New Lenox Road and Cherry Hill Road. This was before you at the last meeting. We indicated that we weren't certain as to which direction we would go with the incentive. After reviewing the matter and receiving reports back, it appears the school district will not be participating in an economic incentive package, so we're recommending that we go with a flat fee of $85,000 that would be payable at the time the building permit application is filed by the developer for all fees, including building permit fees, water and sewer fees, development impact. Basically, the developer, after some meetings that we had, is just looking for certainty on a number. That is roughly about 50% of what we talked about last time. We were recommending cutting everything in about half. This does that, so we're recommending a flat fee of $85,000. The owner of the company, Dominic Stramalia, is present today, along with Andy Burns, to answer any questions you may have. The project is ready to go. If this is approved today, they'll be prepared to go ahead with a closing on the property very soon. The grant that was awarded by the state of Illinois, the paperwork's still in process, but that has been assured to us, so that's still part of this package. And you may recall it's about a $1.2 million grant for road improvements on Cherry Hill and New Lenox Road. So a good project in the Cherry Hill Business Park area to help us with the growth in that area. I know Mr. Stramalia would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I know he and the mayor met last week, had a very productive meeting.
Dominic, I have a question. If you want to step up. Is there a chance that we'll get shovels in the ground this summer for this project?
We're targeting right now May 13th.
Oh, very good.
We have to go hard on that land this Thursday. Closing is in 2 weeks, so we're all ready.
That's great.
It's a definite go.
That's great. That's great. Any other questions?
Tom, what was the projected investment by the applicant here?
It's about $26 to $28 million. Well, it'll be $28 million by the time everything is put into it, but it's the acquisition of the land, the construction. There's a substantial recapture fee payable to the developer, Northern Builders, for the business park across the street, and that's about $700,000. So there's some substantial upfront costs that are being incurred by the company.
So that number hasn't changed from the last
That
meeting?
has not, no.
Great, thank you.
Question? Sure. So, Tom, if I understand right, we're getting $28 million in investment for about $85,000. And okay, that sounds
Yes.
fantastic. The other question I had was the state grant. You say it's Pretty sure?
Yes, it is. Actually, the state would like to announce that at an appropriate time. They've asked us not to talk about it too much, but we thought that's something you needed to know as part of this process, because it's certainly a major incentive for getting this project done. Anytime we get $1.2 million back from the state of Illinois, we're very pleased by that. And obviously, a lot of the hard work was done by Dominic and his team in making the case, the business case for it, as far as job creation and permanent investment.
Well, my apologies to the good governor for taking the thunder out of this.
And I think at the last meeting, Dominic stated there's not going to be any temp help. These are going to be permanent jobs. Other than seasonal holidays, they'll hire some temp help. That's correct.
And we have that in writing, Mayor.
You can do this tonight
Yes.
as long as he's here?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded, said resolution be adopted. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
It's a $28 million investment in your district.
28 million?
Yeah.
Got it cheap for $85,000.
I'm voting for it.
You voted for it? Oh, I don't know. Aye.
Let me read it then, huh?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Welcome to Joliet. I vote aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Fisher.
I vote aye, and thank you for bringing a lot of jobs to Joliet and a tremendous amount of construction jobs, and we look forward to it.
Well, we're gonna make good profit. Building is gonna be first class all day round. We don't make any shortcuts.
Good.
We have another operation which we want to do on 9th C. We want to do first class operation. We're glad to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye. Good luck, Dominic.
Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we have 3 items dealing with the Transportation Center. If I could have you pull those, 134, 142, and 146. I know some of you will have to scroll to get those, but if we could start with 134. That's the revision of the agreement that we have with Metra. As you may recall, we have a $32 million grant from the state of Illinois to help build the complex. In addition to that, there was a $2.4 million grant awarded by the Federal Transit Administration several years ago for the acquisition of the old warehouse that sat on the, right in the middle of the property that's been redeveloped for the commuter lot. We acquired the building for $1 million, a little over $1 million, I think it was. Yep. And then we demolished the building about 2 years ago, and it's been gravel lot since then. It's been used by either the county or by the city. Now it's been redeveloped to be part of the major project. Originally, Metra had planned on owning the lot. The lot itself, the grant itself was coming through Metra to the city from the FTA, Federal Transit Administration. But Metra in the past had always owned the property, allowed us to use it for commuter parking. But after some meetings with Metra and the fact that we now have a much larger project, Metra has agreed to allow the city of Joliet to own the property. The underlying fee simple title to the property will be in the city's name. What this agreement before you does is authorize that change to be made to an agreement that was approved about a year and a half ago. So there's no change in the terms of the agreement. We still have about $1.2 million left for the project that'll be used to help pay for the parking lot, and that's from the grant, and that's over and above the $32 million grant. So we're asking for approval of the what is being labeled the Second Amendment to the Commuter Facility Funding Agreement with Metra.
Questions? Quick one? Sure.
So Tom, we have ample funds from the Metro grant to actually complete and finish the parking lot.
We do, and if you drive by on Chicago Street, you'll see that the parking lot's about 75% done. P.T. Farrell was awarded that contract late last year. The company got as much done as they possibly could, and then we got to a point where, because the blacktop plants had closed and the weather took a turn for the worse, we had to put a halt on the construction. I know that Farrell's team will be out there fairly soon to resume construction.
So maintenance and upkeep will be under the original agreement?
Yes. And the next item is actually related to that, and that is 142-13. That is for the purchase and installation of the hardware that'll go into the parking system. In other words, the gates and the technology that will go for the new lot that is partially constructed, that'll be completed by Faro. What's before you are four proposals. The low proposal came from RevCon Technology Group, Inc., in the amount of $239,373. We've reviewed it with our security consultant and the police department, and a recommendation has come that we install additional cameras at the access gates to increase security for the facility. That makes the total package $258,005. What's going into that, and the agreement itself with RevCon is attached. What the components of that are the Marion Street entry and exit plaza. In other words, all of the hardware and the software that goes into that, that's about a little over $42,000. There's an entrance on Chicago Street, that's about $78,000, and that'll be a 3-lane entrance and exit. The middle lane will be interchangeable, where in the morning, it'll be for ingress, in the evening, it'll be for exiting. So we've got one permanent lane coming in, one permanent lane going out, one in the middle that is reversible. And we've got, what's before you is the hardware for the gates and the technology for that. A payment station kiosk for almost $81,000 that'll be located in the plaza. And then local back office systems, installation and training, and then a command center and Union Station. The total of all of that is just over $258,000. We will be setting up in the police substation facility, so all of the lot can be monitored from the police substation. Right next door to that will be an office that'll be staffed by whoever's managing the parking lot, so they can monitor the surveillance cameras also, and that'll also be a public area for the buying of parking passes to park in the lot. So what this contract does is provide all of the equipment that'll be needed for finishing off that lot. I believe once the weather breaks, they'll be able to get in there, finish the hardware for this, and then have Faro get in and finish the lot, so we're operational probably within 60 to 90 days for that lot. So that'll be the addition of a lot of parking that we currently don't have. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have on that contract.
Tom, this was all part of the original, in other words, the money's there for all this.
That's correct. This is part of the program dollars from the grant that we received from the state of Illinois and then the city's local match. This is coming out of the Transportation Center budget, and I believe there was a code change on this one. Was it this one? Yes. Lisa is indicating it was. So you'll see some new paperwork, but the code number will be corrected on the second page of the council memo, but it's all coming out of the original grant dollars.
Any other questions?
Tom, with RevCon on the installation, I'm assuming there's some kind of warranty and maintenance package attached, if you will, under warranty?
Yes, there'll be fully warranted. And I'd have to look at the contract as far as the duration of the warranty, 2 years, I'm seeing Lisa, Dorothy indicate. And then obviously RevCon's present today to answer any questions you may have, but we're confident that this is the right technology for this facility, and obviously the surveillance is a big part of it, so we have a very safe parking area.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I have a question. Tom, how many parking spaces are there going to be?
There will be, once we're completed, there'll be about 400 surface parking spaces on the southwest quadrant. That'll take us about another year to get to that point, but with this lot, and I'll ask either Lisa or Kendall to help me, once this lot opens, the one that Faro has under contract, how many spaces are in that lot?
This spot will be 400 plus or minus.
This is all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, roughly 400.
Around 400?
We're reserving a few spaces for the sheriff's office. We have, what we're doing is we're allowing the sheriff's office to use some of the spaces at the very southwest quadrant of the parking lot temporarily until there's a demand for those spaces, and then at that point, we'll relocate their parking. Something we've been working with the sheriff's department. It's the adult detention facility staff that uses that lot during shift changes. They have their own parking lot that parallels the PACE maintenance facility on Chicago Street, but they max out in using that lot, so when they have a shift change, they have a few overlaps, they will be allowed to use that southwest area it's not right on Chicago Street. But once we get to a need where we have to have those spaces, then we'll be moving the sheriff's personnel.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Third item dealing with the Transportation Center project is 146-13, and that is an amendment to the contract that we have with Knight Engineering. As you know, we've been working with Knight for almost 2 years now in the design and the architecture for all of the parts of the Transportation Center. Not only the parking lots, but also the bus facility, the train facility, and the platforms. And Knight's been doing a great job of helping us with the development of the project. What's before you are two amendments that total, in addition to their contract, of $307,050. And a part of that is a recommendation that I have for holding off on the construction of the parking garage that was going to be built on the northeast quadrant. You saw back in November a proposal to move forward with the parking garage. We have several issues that need to be taken care of first before we move forward with the parking garage. One of the main issues is getting an intergovernmental agreement with Metra on relocating some spaces that Metra has under its ownership and control on that footprint. That agreement's being worked on right now. We also have some utilities that need to be relocated by ComEd and NICOR. That's being worked on now. And also, we do have some issues as far as going out for a bond issue. To do that, I thought it might be more appropriate for us to hold off on the bond issue until we see how we fare in the legislative session, considering we're going to know in the next 60 days where we stand with the legislature on some important matters dealing with gaming. And I thought before we go out for a bond issue, let's see where that ends up. We are still fully committed to building the parking garage. We think it's a key asset for the downtown transportation center project, but our hope was to build it this year. We think it's wiser to do it next year. What's before you, though, is an amendment to the Knight contract that will allow us to revise their contract, Knight's contract, for three components. One is to design an elevator at the east end of the new platform. The new platform will be constructed from basically what is now Michigan Street or Art Schultz Drive extended all the way to Eastern Avenue, basically all the way over to the parking lot that the Joliet Township High School District owns. That will be a very busy corner at Eastern and where the platform ends, because we'll have a lot of residents parking in that lot that parallels the new platform, and they'll be going up on the eastern end of the platform. We're recommending adding an elevator at that end. So we have elevators at both ends of the platform. That will help us with our accessibility requirements. So we have handicap access at both the very eastern end and the western end, and also help with the movement of people. The second thing is that PACE and the city are working together for the redevelopment of St. Louis Street. St. Louis Street is a narrow street that is on the east side of the PACE bus facility, their maintenance facility. That needs to be widened, and we've asked Knight Engineering to do the design for that. And then the third item is asking for additional security surveillance design work to be done by Knight, and they've done a lot of this already, but obviously we are we're very committed to making sure that we have a very safe facility and have full surveillance, and we've asked Knight to expand the scope of the project to design additional security features so we have full surveillance, full monitoring of the entire complex. So those are the three items that are going into the amendments 4 and 5 that total just over $307,000. Be happy to answer any questions. I know Lisa's present, Kendall, Jim, and others who are working on the project. Be happy to answer any questions you have on it.
Anybody?
I have one, Tom. I know this is a change order versus, a bidding process too. So the $307,000 price tag, in staff's opinion and estimation, is that reasonable for the change or the amount of work increased?
It is, and we work daily with Knight on this project. Either Lisa or Kendall or Jim or others, Jim Trisna, all have contact with Knight on a regular basis. We've developed a good working relationship, and we do compare this with other parts of the contract where we have hard numbers, and we do compare it with other contracts that we've seen in this type of area.
Well, they're an extremely reputable company too, so it makes it that much easier.
There are, a similar question as to the earlier discussion, there are program dollars available in the budget to cover this amendment.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so these three items will be on the agenda for tomorrow. And that completes moving anything up. If we could go back to the beginning of the agenda, and I know we have citizens to be heard also, but we have a very short agenda, so if you don't mind, we'll go through the agenda and then get to the citizens to be heard. First item, 131 actually, we'll have the minutes of the March 18th and March 19th meeting to review, along with committee reports. And I know that there's a Public Service Committee meeting tomorrow morning and a Public Safety Committee meeting tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 here at City Hall. Council Memo 131-13, it's an ordinance accepting an easement for the Woodruff Road Bypass Project. The private property owner at the point where the new road will come in and meet Collins Street has a business that is right on the, very close to the road. There's a sign that this gentleman has, along with an overhang for the front of his building, that will need to be moved in order to make sure the sight lines for people exiting from Woodruff to get onto Collins Street is clear. And what we're doing is reimbursing the owner for the cost of moving the sign and removing the canopy. That total cost is just under $14,500. And then there's a grant of a permanent easement that will prohibit this owner from putting any signs or canopies up in the future that would block the view of people using that intersection. And we're adding $2,000 for the value of that easement. So for a total of $16,500, we're asking for authorization to pay that and then accept the grant of easement. And you may recall, this is a project that's being financed by the Canadian National Rail Company, by the CN, and there are dollars in the budget to cover this expense. So we're recommending approval of that. Next item, 132, we reviewed and approved already. Next item is 134, which we just discussed and will be on the agenda for tomorrow night. 135-13 is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with Kendall County for the intersection of Caton Farm Road and Ridge Road. This is the intersection where Plainfield South High School is located. If you've been out to that part of town, you'll know that we've had temporary traffic lights there. That actually 3 of the 4 legs of that intersection are under the jurisdiction of Kendall County. Kendall County has agreed to redevelop that entire intersection with roadway widening and then new streetlights, traffic signals, and then illuminated street sign names. The only thing Kendall County is asking us to do is to continue with the maintenance of the traffic signals each year. That would be about $1,200 a year if we were to quantify the cost of traffic signal maintenance for that type of an intersection. The total construction cost is estimated to be just under $550,000. That's all being paid for by Kendall County. So working very well with Kendall County in a project like this at an important intersection, we're recommending approval of the intergovernmental agreement.
Questions? Oh, Tom?
Next item, 136-13, is a resolution approving a letter of intent with IDOT for another important road project. This is the widening and improvement of Route 30 from I-55 to Illinois 59. A small portion of that stretch of Route 30 is in the city of Joliet. It's where the old truck stop is located. And then it picks up at just west of the truck stop. It becomes the Village of Plainfield's jurisdiction. But we've been working with the Village of Plainfield for the future development of that site. IDOT's coming in and doing a complete road widening project there. They're asking for us to participate for traffic signals, emergency vehicle preemption, sidewalk, and then some miscellaneous expenses. The city's total contribution to the project is going to be $37,550. IDOT's asking for us to sign the letter of intent to make sure that we're on board with the project. I don't think our memo indicates the value of that project. I don't know if Greg knows.
It's like $500,000.
No, that's going to be a multi-million-dollar. Yeah, we don't know, but it'll be lots of millions of dollars for that project. It will narrow down at from Renwick to 59. It will narrow down though, because of the rookery that's located there and some sensitivity to the flora and fauna of that area. So, but it'll be good for us because we do get a lot of people traveling on Route 30 to get to the Louis Joliet Mall. We certainly want to make it easier for people to get to the mall.
Mayor, Tom, I do have a question. The truck stop, that had once was gonna be a development, any news about that anymore?
Yeah, we actually, the good news there is the person who owned that project still owns it, still owns the property. We have continued to work with the owner of the project, of the property, and the Village of Plainfield. Joliet owns about 20 acres of the parcel, and then there's probably over 100 and some acres that are in the Village of Plainfield. But what we started doing many years ago was doing a comprehensive plan for both the Village of Plainfield and the City of Joliet as far as providing water and sewer service and, making sure our developments are coordinated. The developer assures us that he's still interested. I know the mayor and I have met with representatives from the owner indicating that they're still on board. They are still pursuing some very good projects for that corner. It'll happen someday. I think that corner in Theodore and 59 will be the first to go with some really good projects. Those are probably, Site 1A and Site 1B for us when we talk about economic development. So I think we'll see some good things there. They are trying to, we are trying to work with the owner on the unsightliness of the old truck stop. If you drive by there, it's not a very attractive view. I know Councilman Hug contacted us a few months ago, asked about that. The owner is asking us not to demolish it. He'd like to be able to use it for a construction trailer, so to speak. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Rather than bringing the trailers in, use the facility for staging the construction project out of there. We're willing to work with them, but it's gotten to the point where it's so unsightly that, we need something to happen there. And we just have too many people driving by there, and it doesn't make the right statement for
Oh,
Joliet.
it does, that's why I was wondering what's going on.
We're not sure. It's one of those, I know Jeff's department is pursuing it in court. We're not sure how aggressive we're going to be on it. We're going to continue working. If there's a live project coming our way, we'll certainly be very cooperative, but if it's going to go on for a few more years, we're probably going to look for demolition.
Thank you.
Next item, 137-13, we've already disposed of that. 138-13 is the regular payroll for March 15th, along with the overtime report. 139-13 is an award of contract for elevator repair at 818 East Cass Street. 818 East Cass Street is what we call central services, primarily a public works facility. There's an elevator that services that building, and it's in need of repair. We received proposals from 4 companies. Anderson Elevator from Broadview was the low bidder on that at $27,711. We're recommending award of that contract, and I believe that's going to get reviewed by the Public Service Committee tomorrow morning, along with the next several items. Right, and I think there's several other items on the agenda, Greg, for tomorrow? Okay. I believe that covers all of the items on the agenda, including those that'll be reviewed tomorrow by the committees. Mr. Mayor, unless you have anything else, we have citizens to be heard.
Nothing.
And we can go back to council comments later if you'd like, but citizens to be heard, Sister Juanita Ujic, regarding the detention center.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Excuse me, for the record, could we have your address too, name and address?
Sure. Sister Juanita Ujic, 422 Summit Street, Joliet, Illinois. Currently. As the director of the Center for Correctional Concerns, I've worked in the Will County Jail, and I also started Just of DuPage in the DuPage County Jail, so I've spent 25 years in the jail setting. And during that time, I was part of the National Convocation of Jail and Prison Ministries, which had me traveling each year to a different city across the United States, and we had people from all over the United States that would come together, and that is where I got my impressions of for-profit institutions and of CCA. It was a practical experience. It's something that I'm aware of. While I was in the Joliet, in the Will County Adult Detention Facility, I attended the monthly department head meetings. I participated in accreditation. I am aware of the functioning of such facilities. And I began my concern about this detention business way before anybody did anything about Crete. My first letter went out in August of 2011. There's nothing personal about this. I am very strongly opposed to for-profit prisons and other kinds of things. My first encounter with that was in the Will County Jail quite a number of years ago when there was a for-profit medical group that was cutting corners and doing such things to the detriment of the health of the individuals, which of course would bring on lawsuits related to the county. And at that point was my first interaction with the negative possibility of those people who put money ahead of the process that they're about. So I am concerned because profit is the basic name and direction in which a for-profit prison goes. They don't need to have transparency because ICE and CCA do not follow the laws of that because of the agency that they are. They're inconsistent in what they say. Property values around the area of a detention center, and you can check both Nevada and Arizona, go down, and so that it will have a negative effect on some of the finances. They utilize their money to support political funding of people who will support them, and that makes it very difficult to be clear about what's going on. DOC and Will County Adult Detention Facility operations are under the control of the state and the county. If you bring a facility like this in, they are not under control. They're under control of ICE, and you've lost control. And therefore, they can do what they want to do, and you don't have the oversight nor the freedom to go in and check and do the oversight. The jobs that come in will definitely be jobs, but they will be low paying. They consistently bring in people from their organization. Actually, they hire lobbyists, former government employees, and they bring their own leadership team in. So there will be very few professional positions available. It will mostly be non-skilled, low-paying, and non-union. I don't know if you're aware of this, but in DOC, Department of Corrections, officers make somewhere in the vicinity of $30 an hour, and they're trained as police officers down in the state before they become correctional officers. Will County Adult Detention Facility, their pay is very close to the deputies, and they are even higher trained than DOC. But and the pay that Correctional Corporation of America pays their employees, correctional officers, is less than $10 an hour compared to 30 and more. So we're dealing with a situation where those people who might have lost jobs because of DOC and other kinds of things are not going to be very interested. They have a tremendous turnover because...
Sister, we have a three-minute limit.
There's one or two other things I'd like to say. They do not respect the host city. They will use up your infrastructure. But I've been reading some of the projected issues. And when you read it, it says that it's supposed to look like a college campus, but it's 80% secure facility. But that's not what bothers me as much as the contract says that families may be detained, and that a higher number than the number initially given may be detained. And if families are detained, then this places children in a secure setting with persons who have been convicted of felonies. And this is outrageous. So I ask that you please carefully consider how this is going to impact the city. And also, can CCA be trusted? I believe that everything that they have said to you is true. However, I don't believe they told you everything. And Joliet will be faced with this, a commitment of 20 years, and they consistently are operational and usually very good in the beginning. But as time goes on, they focus their energies on their newer places
Sister,
and
you have
let
to wrap
the
it
others
up.
go down. And I hit the record, and that's all right. I thank you all for your time, and I would like to give you a copy of what I have one other comment to make.
Make it short.
Related to this. And that is that on, let me see if I got it here. We concerned citizens of Joliet against the detention prison invite each of you to the rally on Saturday, April 6th at 1 p.m. We're going to gather at Aztec de Oreo on 113 Collins Street at 1 p.m. Following speeches, they will march to the Will County Government Center on Chicago Street. And U.S. Representative Luis Gutierrez, Bill Foster, Bobby Rush, and Pastor Herb Brooks, chairperson of the Will County Board, will be addressing the group, and you are welcome to attend. And thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the next speaker to have signed up is David Sahavedra regarding the detention center.
I'd like to tell me something in a minute.
Good afternoon. My name is David Saavedra. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me. You need my address?
Yes, please.
500 Wilcox Street.
Mr. Mayor, I think if Mr. Sahavedra could move a little closer to the microphone
Yes.
so we can pick it up. Thank you, sir.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's better.
My name is David Saavedra, and my partner Ulises Ornelas over there in the back. We want to present our organization, Collegiate Alliance for Social Activism, to the council. We went ahead and saw the need for social activism on behalf of the college students and high school students here in Joliet. And I just wanted to say that our organization has taken a stance against the possibility of a for-profit prison being built here in Joliet. I understand that most of the council may not be properly informed or aware of the possibility of what comes with a for-profit prison. So I have taken the liberty and the time to go ahead and collect information, facts, the pros and cons on what comes with a for-profit prison, which is what we will be presenting to each of you individually, if you will allow. I will not take much more of your time up here today. I just wanted to go ahead and inform you of our intentions and open the invitation for you guys as well to the rally on April 6th, this coming Saturday. So,
Thank you, David.
thank you.
People keep saying for-profit prison. This is not a prison. It's a detention center.
For-profit.
This is a place that they go after they serve their prison sentence in a prison. Then they go there to decide whether or not they're going to be deported. It's not a prison. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes the pre-council agenda. We do not have a need for a closed session today.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, right. You wait. It's not a prison.
Like y'all don't want to go, y'all better get up. I can't go home. Larry's got to go.
No. Let me tell you something. Come here, Father.
Prepare what?